So most of the dash pieces and that are all now out, ready to basically take the dashboard out so we can fix the cracks up in there. Most of the wiring's disconnected, just got a few bolts left to go. We'll chuck a quick time lapse and get that out. Well, there we go, dashboard out. Aside from a little bit of dust from over the years, everything's all pretty much out, came from Holden, hardly been touched. And some Carbuilders foam to stick over the dynamat, and then a couple of boxes of sound deadener from Carbuilders as well for the door and the floors. Hopefully we've got enough to do the whole lot, otherwise I shall order some more. Let's get into it. Righto, it's got the roof done. Worry about the rest of it another night. All the sound deadener's done, the layer of foam's done. Just did a bit across the back because it's quite tinny. But you can, it's now very dead compared to what it was. Makes a massive difference. So, given that all the sound deadener underneath the car's been removed so that all the airbrushing can be put straight onto the tin. It's extremely loud inside, I'm told. Not that I've driven it yet, but we will do the rest of it. The other thing I noticed is the back wall and all that is actually done with the original bitumen sound deadener, similar to what came from factory. That's not from factory, so Jamie's obviously done that at some stage, so that'll help. But we'll still put sound deadener over the top of that, try and make the cab as quiet as possible and make the stereo sound as good as it can. Time to start cleaning up the rest of the big interior. I've already given it a little bit of vacuum and blown out most of the dust from 20 odd years, which is very minimal considering it's only done 4,000 Ks. Now the next job is to get all the old underlay, which really doesn't do a hell of a lot for sound deadening, off the floor. I've got the wire wheel to try and rip it apart. Seems to be working. Got some sound deadener in the left hand door, all the outside skin's all done. Got a bit of foam pad there just behind the speakers to stop any noise coming backwards on them. And I shall finish off the rest of that dynamat and fill in the holes once all the door glass and frame and everything's back in so that they're removable. So a bit of an update on progress of where we're at. I've removed the master cylinder for the clutch because it leaked onto the floor. So that's all out so we can get the new one for it. This side's all stripped out, ready to clean to do the sound deadener. That side I've done all the floor, all that door's all complete, inside and out. Next step will be the back wall once I work out what we're going to do with the eyeball subs, which are being airbrushed currently and hopefully on their way. Still got one door to do the sound deadener on. Windows are out, the tint's been pulled off, all the old wiring's been removed. So new wiring run through for the new speakers. Window track just out so I get the wiring in and out easier. Dash is all repaired, they're ready for paint. It's pretty much where we're at with the inside. Started making up new door pods, hold the speakers. Basically the same shape, same principle, but we're going to move the tweeters up on top of the dash. Better for sound staging. Having behind the speaker cloth in the doors, not exactly the best spot for them, so there's enough room to put both on top of the original spot, so I'll mould all that in and we'll repaint those so that it looks like it should be there. Head units been tested, we got those up and running. Just need to get an AOI net cable so I can hook the processor up, make sure we got sound before I run anything. Engine bay pretty much all stripped out in that back corner, so I get the booster out to get the master cylinder out. We'll do a bit of a clean up in there while we're at it. Strut braces off, polish up a few bits and pieces just so that it's ready for Summernats for take to the show, and then ideally afterwards we'll pull everything out and start cleaning it all up, hide all the wiring, remove whatever doesn't need to be there, and get some new airbrushing put in there. Have it basically the same as what it was, but improve on what's there. That's the old booster. You can see a couple of marks where it's been, brake fluid's been leaking and it's boiled the paint. We'll probably repaint that, clean that up. Master cylinder that leaks. Not much point trying to dick around cleaning it up, so we'll just get a new one of those. A few bits of billet pieces from low fabrication that we can chuck in the engine bay to clean that up a bit. We'll polish the master cylinder up for the brakes and get rid of the battery and stuff and bring it into the new age of the engine bays. It's got the second door pretty much done. Just need to get some more to finish off the last bit there and the rest of the floor on the inside and the back, which we still got to do. Driver's side floor's all pretty much done. Inside the door's all done. Just got to put a bit of foam in there. Now on to the rest of it. A bit of an update where we're at. Sound deadener is almost all done. Back of the cab is almost fully covered. Still got a roll of the foam to put across that once I start making some panels up to mount the processor. And we'll get the sub box and the trim panels sorted and come through there. And then I'll finish the foam there so that it completely fills the cab with the foam. The whole floor is now covered in the bitumen matting plus the foam over the top on both sides. I've only got as far as the front of the floor for now. Ultimately, once the engine bay gets done, we'll be doing a lot of welding. I don't want to be peeling off what's already there, so I'll finish that at a later date when the rest of the aircon unit and everything comes out. We'll do the whole tunnel and try and get it as quiet as possible inside. Both doors are fully done. Got a bit of foam in there just to stop any sound waves. Other addition is the power supply, which will be hidden in underneath the tray Purpose for that is when we're at shows, we can run the whole system off that, off 240 mains. We'll switch it over so the batteries that are in the car don't go flat. It's assuming that we have power. If we don't have power, then it will run off batteries. There's 2 batteries on order, which won't be here for a while, but once we get those, I'll get them mounted in the tray, hidden away as well. We'll get rid of the battery out of the engine bay and all the wiring eventually. Sub box is basically designed up for capacity wise. It's got a list of cutting for the wood for that, and I can start building that, getting that in there so I can get the subs running, get some steel and some timber for the floor so I can start building a frame to mount the amplifiers. Basically exactly the same as what they were, that we want either side. Tray will be exactly the same as what we had before, within reason. Got the windows back in after having the tint removed. The glass is pretty much brand new. There's not a mark on them. So they cleaned it perfectly. So they will look excellent once it's all back together. Put some lights in the roof, show off the whole interior. That'll show a bit better than just having the standard interior light. New master cylinder for the clutches in. The old one developed a leak which dripped onto the floor, which was absolutely useless. Once it ran out of fluid, couldn't drive it. So that's all bolted in. I'll finish putting the booster back in, and dashboard is also now painted, repaired, so that can go back in so I can start fitting the head units. Get all the wiring run. Wiring for the speakers is all the way run through into the doors. They'll make up new pods for the new speakers. Tweeters will now go up on top of the dash once that's back in. Crossovers on the driver's side, mounted in behind the seat, because at the end of the day I'll be putting the fuse box, relay box from the engine bay in that kick panel. So the 2 for the left hand side are in the kick panel below the ECU, but I didn't want to do that on this side. One, that can create noise if the crossovers and the wiring runs anywhere near power wire, which the main power wire will run through the cab on this side. Trying to keep everything away from the RCAs and the speaker wires to make sure there's no interference. That's pretty much where we're up to. Console's just sitting in there at the moment, so it's out of the way. I think I'll make a new lid. That one's a different colour, different size, just not really to my liking. Nintendo 64 has been dropped off. We're trying to get that repaired. Some of the wires that were on the soldering side of things had fallen off, so try and get that fixed up. Get that up and running. Otherwise we're going to have to source another Nintendo 64, but that's one of the main things of this whole ute, so we've got to get that up and running. That's about it for the moment. We'll keep going. That takes care of episode 2. As you can see, all the sound deadening's finished. We've got all that wrapped up. We've got a couple of little spots to do, but nothing major. That was quite a while ago, so we've got a fair bit done since then. The tray's progressing nicely. Inside the cab's progressing nicely. We've got the sub balls back in there. And next episode will be some wiring, the sub box for the tray, and also the dash and door repairs, getting that sorted and get the dash back in. Thanks to all the people who have subscribed. It helps us out. Just want to get to 1,000 subscribers, and then we can discuss whether I can actually make some money out of it. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. And if you have any questions, put it in the comments below. If you want to see anything added to the videos, then I'm happy to include that in the next one. Otherwise, whatever will be in the future episodes is probably going to be covered anyway. So if you have any questions, feel free. Otherwise, thank you for watching.